Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Mark and Natalie Newstater here with eXp Realty, and I came across this really interesting article recently about the 6 renovations that will decrease the value of your home. So you're going to want to stay tuned to today's video and see what they are so you don't make those mistakes. All right, Natalie, so this is an interesting one, right? And we actually did a short video on this similar topic a little while back, but this article got me thinking, and there's some really interesting ideas in this particular article from a partner of ours at eXp Realty called Zoocasa. So we're gonna post a link to the article in the description below, but let's go through these. We'll give our take on these renovations that could decrease the value of your home. And the first thing is removing a bedroom to make yours larger. So I'm going to say that I've seen this a lot in Calgary. There were a couple of years ago, there was a lot of flips happening in a community called Acadia. So a lot of these homes were built in the 50s and 60s, that typical 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom bungalow. So let's talk about this one for a second. So the pros and cons here. So you get a bigger bedroom, and oftentimes they would also add a large ensuite, right?
Yeah, because especially if you have a 3-bedroom home and 1 bathroom, that's just not conducive to today's modern clients. So they want to have their own ensuite. So they were taking over bedrooms and doing this massive walk-in closet and ensuite. It looked beautiful, but it really decreases it because now you only have a 2-bedroom home, and that makes it a very challenging thing, especially if you have a family moving in there. Typically they want a 3-bed, 2-bath.
Right, but I'm going to push back on that a little bit because you're also adding the value of a bathroom, of an ensuite, and typically a walk-in closet. A lot of the homes that I saw, they had the beautiful ensuite, and then in that bedroom that they took over, there was also room for a closet, for a walk-in closet typically. All right, so that's number 1 on the list. Number 2 on the list is converting your garage into a living space. Now, I have to say, I've actually never really seen it to that extent in Calgary. Have you?
No, not really. I mean, I've seen a few houses that have done that. It does depend. It looks a little awkward. There used to be one in my old neighborhood, and it looked a little odd.
It did look odd. And now, having said that, you know, I guess it's my brain. We actually sold a house a couple of years ago where they did this exact thing. Now, it was 2 families. It was multi-generational living. So they needed the extra space for the elderly parents to kind of have their own relaxation space in this single attached garage. Now, did it affect the sale? I mean, we got a very quick sale because it was a seller's market at the time. But generally speaking, in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, you want somewhere warm to park your car, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a no-brainer for most people. However, that being said, it does depend on the situation. You know, like you said, if it's a multi-family thing, you're desperate for space, you're going to do what you can to make everybody feel like they're living in a home.
Yeah, me personally, now I'm assuming that most people would have their basements developed. And if you haven't and you're thinking about converting your garage as a bit of a no-brainer, like really a big no-brainer, please develop your basement first before you convert your garage into a living space. All right, so that was number 2. Number 3 is making a room too specific. So you'll see in the article when you click the link below after you've watched the video, they were talking about, a bowling alley. Well, that's not reality for most people, but a good example was, and it's not super current, but they talked about, a photographer converting a bedroom or a room into a dark room. But there are other examples of that. I think the overarching theme is, you can do whatever you want in that room, but make it convertible because, when you're selling your home, you want to make it as neutral as possible, as, so people can see what they could do in the space, not what you're doing in the space, right?
And that's where staging comes in.
Exactly.
That's the reality. So you could use it as a dark room and then just before listing, convert it back into a bedroom. Bob's your uncle.
Number 4 on the list is installing carpet. I found this one interesting. I mean, if I had my druthers, the house we moved into in January of 2020, had carpet in the upstairs. They had it was brand newly installed. You know, if you say the cost of carpet versus a really nice luxury vinyl plank, you know, it's going to be more for luxury vinyl plank. How much more, you know, I don't know. So I think this also comes down to, you know, are you doing this to sell the house, or are you doing it to live in the house for a few years? I think it really just depends. Do you have pets? Like, we have 2 big dogs. I would have far preferred luxury vinyl plank on that upper floor. What are your thoughts?
Now, I would say, I mean, this is a contentious one because a lot of people, particularly in bedrooms, love to have carpet, especially on a cold winter morning. Getting out of bed and putting your cozy, warm feet onto a cold hardwood floor, not so fun. That's why you have area rugs. But it is something just to think about. It's a lot of people are gearing towards something like an LVP, like a luxury vinyl or a hardwood, just because of the sanitation, like the sanitary conditions, without having dog hair and dander and dirt and dust and all that kind of stuff embedded in your carpet. It just adds another level of having to constantly get them cleaned. And a lot of people have allergies, and that's a big one, right? That's why they wanna switch over to that. So again, if you're selling for a quick sell and your carpet looks terrible, just do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you're living in it, probably go something else.
Well, good examples. We just listed a home, and they had some issues. The dog had destroyed the carpet, like clawed the carpet, and they couldn't get it matching. And so they just replaced all of it. It looks fantastic, and people are getting brand new carpet. So I think there are still instances where you would do that. But, you know, it's a fair point. If you can go hard surface floors, especially in the upper floors, maybe not so much in the basement, definitely do it. Number 5 on the list is over landscaping your yard. And this, I'll be honest, this is a pet peeve of mine. Back in the day, my ex-wife and I, we owned a property, and I think it was in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 beds. They didn't have flowers in them, but they had shrubs and trees and all sorts of stuff. Well, I can tell you, we could literally be out there every day in summer because the weeds and this and that, and trying to keep them, you know, making them look nice. And it was way too much because the people that owned the house prior to when we owned it, that was their thing. She didn't work, and so she could be out there every single day taking care of those beds. Generally speaking, you have to be really careful with that because your beauty is somebody else's problem.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because that's the number one thing. We've heard that actually a couple of times from clients, that you walk in the backyard and we're like, wow, this is stunning. And they're like, that is too much work. That's a hard pass for me, which is unfortunate because the house could be perfect, but all they're thinking about is, just like you said, how much time they're going to have to spend maintaining it.
Yeah, so be careful on over landscaping your yard. Do functional things, right? If you have a smaller yard, you know, make sure that you have a little bit of space for kids to play on and things like that, but don't overdo it. All right, so that's number 5, over landscaping your yard. And finally, now this one's an interesting one, introducing too much wallpaper, right? So they make reference in the article to the wallpaper of the 60s and 70s, and you know, you're the designer in the room, so you're going to have an opinion on this. You take this one.
No, I think I agree with you on that. The 60s and 70s, it was different wallpaper in every single room, and it made your eyes hurt. Wallpaper has a place. It's perfect in a small powder room. It really adds a punch to it. You can have a feature wall with one wall having wallpaper on it that goes cohesively with the paint in the other rooms, but don't overdo it. That's all I can say.
All right, so there's our top 6. What are your thoughts? Have you done some of these renovations and now kind of regret it? Put your comment down below. Or what are some things that you would recommend people not do? Because it also comes down, and we haven't even talked about value. I mean, we talked a little bit about value earlier on, but a lot of these things also relate to value. Like, how much money are you spending? It's like the kid driving down the street with a totally souped up car, and the muffler and the wheels are worth more than the car.
Yes.
So you got to be careful not to overdo things, especially when you're going to sell.
Yeah.
I'll relate one story real quick. I tell my clients this, you know, that if you're going to do a renovation that may not be the most value, do it, live in the house, enjoy it. Don't expect the value out of it. But there's some tips and our take on 6 renovations that may make your home worth less and you may not get the value out of. Again, comment down below. Love to see the comments on this one. Thanks so much for watching the video. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more great content like this. Ring that notification bell so you know when we're putting out our next video, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.